Hello out there, James here. I have a food for thought video about the latest thing with the immigrant situation throughout the country that's coming in. One of the questions that kind of came to my mind is that whenever you look at a country like Rome, yeah, they have the most extreme wealth, and when you look over there, they have Saudis, for example, Saudi Arabia has like billions of dollars, and that they can literally take care of a whole continent and the whole country. They are on under they believe in the same Islamic law as some of your other countries, and they have a same basically traditional system is over there, like your Islamic country, like some of your Islamic countries. The women don't have to worry about getting harassed for wearing their native religious gear. Um, the wealth, I mean, they have enough wealth to build up a city for example, people that live in Syria that are from Syria, the Muslims, they have a place for them over there for them to have their own business and have their own schools. To have the climate is similar, which brings me to the question is why when at that time why didn't they take some of them in? Um, that's one of the questions when Syria was going through that bombing with by the United States and different ones. I wonder why didn't Saudi Arabia take some of them in? I mean, part of it is I said when you go to that part of the Middle East, I mean that's where the religious, you know, capital of near Mecca is anyway for the Islamic holidays. So I figured by it's being an Islamic holiday that it would be great for them to help out the ones who are that region. And the language is different, the customers is similar. Maybe the language is maybe a little bit different, but it's not too have something similar. But the climate, the culture is similar to the same way. This is what I don't understand. Okay, that's it. That's one of the part about in the immigrants. The second part about it is now over here in America, everybody think that America just take on take on all these take on these immigrants from South America. But some of these people from South America thinks that's the land of the rich, and once you get over there, but none of the people from South America never really thought about okay, once I get there, how communication is going to be the biggest factor as far as getting certain things done. Educational wise, when you have something going on with your child at school, how are you going to be able to communicate with somebody if someone, both of the parents or someone don't speak English to that well? And maybe it might be a teacher that maybe don't speak Spanish that well. Have anybody ever thought about that? Second thing I want to think about this too is that how it affects people here. Right now we about to probably have a recession coming on. You have a lot of companies, you have a lot of things to be that are discretionary on they're leaving the companies and they go into countries in some places in Mexico where the job maybe the pay is not as adequate as far as pesos, but at least you have a job over there. At least, and then if they would have went to Mexico City with some of them, they could they they could have a better offer. Then it's the things that if you cooperate right, they can probably grant you some things, and then maybe on later on, if they wanted to get to the United States, then they could somebody in Mexico can vouch for them, and why in Mexico they can be able to graft into what the American language and culture is, and that goes for anybody that's coming to the United States, not just particularly South America, but any other place. You're gonna have to figure out a way to communicate with people, and because people, how can you stay in the country and you really can't communicate? If your wife can't don't speak English, you don't speak it. If you're a man, your parents don't speak English. And majority of the people in this country speak English. You might come across affluent people who speak Spanish, but the factor is that they ain't gonna be around you 24/7. So a lot of people have to think about that when it comes to your daily needs. You get pulled over by the police officer. He may not even be bilingual. So how's he going to how that's going to work out? Where you communicate with them, where you might be in trouble or have some distress or disrest kind of thing. So maybe the immigrants in Mexico, and if people from America, why don't they teach them English over there? So when they come over here, they have a kind of idea on working on the language skills before they come to America. Because if you go into some part of America where they're not bilingual, how are you going to able to communicate with something? If something go down with yourself or your family, that's just one of the things that just would make a lot of sense. The third thing is maybe that these other countries can step in, like Spain, because they speak Spanish. It may be a different, but it's main thing you gotta understand. No matter how many people speak Spanish, even though the Spanish might be slight different in certain phrases, whatever, but pretty much overall, when someone speaks Spanish, someone understands, have a good understanding, interpretation of what they're talking about. And so I figured maybe, the United Nations can have someone like Spain can offer some property to some the migrants, as since they want to leave, because the wealth thing is about this, the money and the same kind of wealth. Spain has is probably near the same thing as the United States. And so in the communication can have better. Now Rome wants to help out, they can give up some land too. They'd give up some land for some immigrants. Since the Pope have such a idea, why don't you bring in some Syrians, and if you want some Central Americans, maybe some can get on the plane and go over there into Europe and work for you and stuff like that. I'm just saying, and the Pope speaks Spanish because he's from Argentina, so he's able to communicate with them, whatever, and different individuals like that. So, but why it has to be on the responsibility of America when America is in some $1 trillion worth of debt with these other countries and everything. So to make easier for that is maybe some of these people, whether they have of the Muslim religion or of the Muslim faith, and from these mostly Muslim countries, they might want to try someplace like Saudi Arabia, where you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about someone mocking your wardrobe because it's the majority Muslim country. So ain't no one you have to worry about someone that really technically shouldn't be able to discriminate against you, especially if you're Syrian or something like that, or one of them other come from a mostly Muslim country, and just work things out. The climate's pretty much different. The belief system's pretty much different. So why go to a Western country where people harass you, they beat you up, they don't like you? So that's what I don't understand. So why would you want to go to certain places in France or Europe or someplace where they don't like you? They beat you up, they make fun of you, they mock you. So to save all that, go to mostly Muslim country, where you will feel someone, and there's plenty of Muslim countries. You have Morocco, you got Libya, you have that's in parts of North Africa, Egypt, and there's all different places to go in as far as if let's say if you have the Muslim faith, and if you want to continue on with the traditions of Muslim people, and it's mostly a Muslim country, even though you have other groups of people of other faiths there, but it's on a mostly Muslim rule, and it just makes you wonder, and so you don't have to worry about someone telling you about women what to wear, what not to take out, go to the beach or anything like that in some country because hey, it is under the same rule and you can feel comfortable in there. So that's what I don't quite get it. Saudi Arabia have all that money over there that they need to come up off of it. They can help out these other Muslim countries, these other people of the Muslim faith. Uh, I mean, if Iraq or Iran don't have some, then maybe Saudi Arabia can just tip in. They got billions of dollars. What are they doing with all the billions of dollars? That's what what they doing with all the billions of dollars? You have Rome that got really financially probably got more wealthy in the United States as gold and everything. Why is it? Why is it? That's they what they criticize. This country for chipping in, but that's it. But they got no. They probably got some areas of Rome, outside of Rome that they could put some of these people at, since they want to be so opinionated so much, and then particularly, especially if they Spanish, if they Catholic, because most of them follow the Spanish under the Catholicism faith. So that would be a good place to go, and see if they can bring in some financial grants to bring some these people in Austria to come over to the Europe, since because America is not able to be able to fund stuff after a while. So maybe they might benefit and get us some part of the land or country where they could be citizens over there too, so if you want to put it that way. But it's not fair for America, whose citizens already is struggling. Majority of the citizens, and the wealth is only a certain percentage of people that have wealth here. It's not everybody that has wealth here in this country. So I don't think it's fair whatsoever. And that's why that it just brought to my mind. Why don't they step up? What? Because since United States is going through a transitional time where some companies are leaving because of trade deficit and things like that with the Trump administration and stuff, like some jobs gonna come, but we might probably won't have the jobs in the states that they might not be the ones that most people to grasp to. So if there's an immigrant out there, maybe they might want to try another country. They might want to try another. I mean, especially if you come from a climate where it's a dry climate too, so you won't have to get no respiratory infections or anything like that. You live in some country like that, the food is a little bit similar to the same, the customers a little bit to the same, and you be able to. No one's going to pick at you. No one's going to rob you. No one's going to harass you. No one's going to physically discriminate against you and call you out your name and things like that. I'm just saying it. I'm just some food for thought here for some of these immigrants. And as far as I think Argentina can step up with something, they can. If the Argentine government can have some open land, and maybe some of the people from Guatemala, and some people from Honduras, and some people from El Salvador, maybe they can, and some people from Venezuela, if they can offer a little bit of land, if they got enough land, maybe they can put them somewhere on their land, stuff like that, and offer some land. Argentina, no one, I don't hear no one mention about that. I mean, Chile, they offer something to some people that want to come down, but I know there's got to be a passport situation. But why? But at least what I'm saying is, at least people be able to comprehend you and understand your culture, because the culture is similar to the same. and people be able to communicate with them in their language. And they won't have that problem where something can happen, and it may not be the wealthiest country, but at least they got some type of financial thing going on. It may not be what they believe like the United States is like the ultimate wealth what country, because it's really there's only a few billions like millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires like they are in any part of the world. But overall, um, right now, because in certain places in America, there's poverty is rising, and during the recession, so it's best for the people to stay go to a neighboring country, and so you have to worry about again the communication, and you might have to adjust some things to the custom of that country. And I think that's something what the administration should talk to some other South American leaders and maybe suggest this to the Honduran and say, you know, the government, if they want to, and give the people that option. You know, if the South American government, along with the Mexican government, can have some way to meet up and they can discuss on how, because some citizens due to poverty can you take us because the United States are unable, they got to go through a certain process or whatever, and it's longer, and so you won't have people being in detention in the states, being locked up and not able to have freedom at the time they have to wait behind someone's shelter and bars for the next. So the better yet is one of these countries can open up their country and have some land. That would be the best thing to do. It's just some food for thought. It's just I'm trying to give some solutions to that. I mean, this can happen. That if other countries can step up in that part of South America, the ones the richer ones more than the other ones. And I know Colombia has probably did some good things because they had a lot of people from Venezuela had to go down in there, and parts of Chile and different. They had to keep going because something was going on with their government and with the Venezuelan government down there. But they was able to adjust themselves, and the culture was similar to same to different, and they were able to communicate with the Venezuelan, with the Colombian, with the Venezuelan. So they have a good bond of communication coming, and they have a lot of the food might be similar to same, the atmosphere, the climate might be fair weather. So why come to a climate if you come from a dry tropical climate and at least your body be able to adjust to it down here. Well, you come up north to a cold climate. When you get up in near Mexico and in the United States, you know it's cold. The weather's changing, and your body's not used to it. So that's another reason too. And I'm just being frank, and that's as far as this latest thing with out at the border. So some of these other countries, if I was a Trump administration, like, why don't you step up and try to help us out since we got bargained? Hey, why don't you open up some land and work out some money deals? So, okay, we got some other country for you to fly to. If you don't want to go back to Guatemala, we got Spain, we got one of these other countries can take you in and see if they could put you and give you a job and a good access of life. And because it's not fair for America just keep everybody keep dumping their stuff at the door. America is I mean, when you compare it to Saudi Arabia in the much as wealth as Rome got, the wealth is you can't compare it. Because when you got a country like Saudi Arabia, when they sitting on billions and trillions of dollars, and you go into a hotel or something over there, and it's made of marble and gold and everything, what does that tell you? And that's for the people that's coming from some of them, and you have immigrants come from some of them other countries who are of the Muslim faith. I mean, they can point make some roads in part not too far outskirts of the city, and make the neighborhoods out there for other ethnic groups of people who are of the Muslim faith. And it, basically, and the food would be over the, would be probably the climate is similar to the climate is pretty much the similar to the same, and might have to learn their lingo, but it shouldn't. It'd be pretty much for all you be able to speak their language, and they speak your language, and basically it'd be similar to some different. Maybe it must be some different type of Arabic talking over there. I can only imagine, but it's not too. But it's something that can probably be understandable over in Saudi Arabia. Then you have to learn here in the States, and that's just for the people that's over there. Um, that would be a good suggestion for people. And Rome can take in some people too. Rome can take in some of these different immigrants too that feed the burden, because Rome is wealthy. Rome got wealth. The Vatican, they wealthy. They got money. They got money. So why is it that what I'm saying is, why is it always got to be dumped on the United States? Why is it always got to be dumped on certain places in Europe? And then when they're topsy full. So it's something to think about, and that we can solve this problem until we get our economies up and straight. And America need to shape herself here in America. United States need to try to work out something to bring the homelessness and the low income up to a certain level. And that's how we would have a thriving country. And then we can worry about taking up, but you can't take in someone else's, and when we don't have enough to take care of ourselves. I mean, we really don't. I mean, you as far as the working poor here to near homelessness, there's only so many services that it is for here, and it's strapped. And people don't think about, let's say, for the state I live in, Ohio, you have so many counties, that are people in poverty. You have so many people in counties and towns and rurals and areas like that there's not a lot of industry of work where they live at. So some people either they have to go on food assistance, and it had to be allocated to food assistance, some government facility, because some of them are sick, some already got some kind of illness or something like that. So when you have an area in some places in Ohio, for example, that's how people need to understand. And that's the one state, but that's not including all the rest of the states in their counties, their towns, their lack of industry, lack of industry, and lack of employment. For example, in West Virginia, their coal industry is about shots. So someplace like West Virginia and Appalachia, they don't have that many job opportunities coming in because there's a lot of regulations. So you have whole towns like that, and it's only that thrive off the industry of coal mining and things like that. And you have the coal industry is regulating things and violating things to the point that it costs people their jobs. Them people are going to need some subsidiary. They're going to need help in the Appalachians states like West Virginia, the mountains of Virginia, and Carolinas, and places like that, and probably in other places that they need food, and they need the basic survival on how to survive out there. So, and that's a whole different poverty out there in rural America. And as far as the inner city, I mean, there's not too many companies want to come not too many come in the inner city, and when they do, they never pick up people from that inner city. There's always somebody coming from out of the city into the suburbs, and they never, which is that's a slap in the face to the people who live there. And then and you have some of these politicians are able to give tax breaks and bypass EPA regulations and everything for someone, and they don't care about the neighborhoods that they put their company. Just as long as you bring in the jobs and stuff like that, but they don't care if the health is going to die off, kill out hundreds and thousands of people that's in the neighborhood, what kind of chemicals is going through the air, and they don't consider nothing like that. Just bringing them, just bringing, just screw it. It's just they poor, they're gonna die off anyway, and that's how the mentality of it is here. No one gives a crap. So with all this is going on, how can you take on someone else's problem with the number of people in poverty? You have a number of people who are in disability, and you have a lot of people physical, mental, emotional disability. They can't work ever again. There's people who are taking care of elderly people, caregivers take care of people who have their child or brother, mother, aunt, uncle, someone who has a disability, a mental disability, a physical disability for the rest of their life. So that it needs funding for that. Then you can consider some places where they got a budget how the way they're gonna spend their money on their rent and just the basic necessities, and how if they get sick, they have to worry about what's going to be covered up under that, and they want to cut that in Washington D.C., which is not right, man. They keep coming at the poor, but they don't have no solution for the poor. But and then you have some of these other people that they got the poor, they surrounded with poor people that who's from their country in this country, and they worry about someone else's poor, in which the government over in that country already offered them solutions. Just gonna have to take a process of waiting, but they don't want to wait. Whatever. Some of these people are rushing the border just to claim, and they don't want to follow the rules. And can you blame me? And then they're not taking it serious from the leader, from Trump, who is the leader of the country, who is the president, saying you can't just come in and crash the border. You can't do that. Just going to exalt. But some people just going to break the law, and then they kind of find out, they do the slick slide way and have a baby here and figure that's going to do something. But that's which is kind of which is already messed up, because it's like, okay, let's say you do have a baby here in the United States, but you still might have to get back out of the country. So now you separated from your child. See, someone need to think about people who do stuff like this. They need to think about this. Say, well, okay, if I have my child in the country, they take me apart from my baby and put me back on the airplane and send me back to the home country. Now your child's stuck. But who fault can you have to? If you would have just obeyed the rules, you wouldn't have to lose your child. And that's the truth. I mean, it's just that there's laws in every part of the world that you have to abide by if you want to become a citizen, come from one other country, and then importantly, things seem how do we operate, have a good communication and comprehending of understanding what country you're coming into. The country's not going to conform to your way and adapt to your way in your environment when when America has a whole different culture in its way of it in itself, and you're gonna find yourself being very, very isolated. And then some people probably will help you, in which there's some people that do, but a lot of people who rush that board, they didn't think about that. They're not thinking about things like that. And who's gonna pay? And for some of these people, who's gonna pay for it? And these people, you worry about them, but yet you have people in your backyard that is suffering. You have a population of people in your backyard. I mean, it's out of Batusi. There's a high epidemic of opioids. There's a high epidemic out there among the homelessness, and then you have people who just lost their jobs, lost their house, maybe lost their apartment because they couldn't pay the rent no more because because it's too high. So they got to go live out on the street. You got people out there probably lost their home through a fire. You got different other reasons. So why are you taking up some when you need to be a missionary in your own country? When you have people in your own United States of America that need some missionary work. There's already people over in that country doing missionary work. Why can't you solve the problem here? Just take care of home first, then worry about what's over there. But people over here is suffragists and throughout the United States. We probably got just as bad as probably them other countries. I mean, there's probably places in the United States is probably bad as far as that. They live in, you go in their house and they probably got one can of green beans and water and one bottle of water in the refrigerator. You got some people that living like that. You got some people that live in extreme of poverty. And if you want to do missionary work, missionary people help out those people first. When the government already neglected them and neglected that county and neglected that town and neglected that situation, because while someone's playing politics, there are people who are suffering. They're suffering when it comes to medical costs, when it comes to just your basic needs. This is what I'm saying about, to come back to the point, why don't these other countries step up? Because America can't take, when America's own citizens is going into poverty because companies who don't want to pay the living wage no more and want to cut down our housing here in the States is going up. The inflation with food is going up. Medication is going up. Every time you can't get car for your gas, it's going up. Everything is going up. So people have to find some way to survive. Right now, I mean, and who knows? The homelessness is increasing as we honestly speak, and that's why I say you can't really keep taking it someone else's problems when other countries need to step up and help take in some of the problems of these people who are fleeing out of poverty, whether it's a gang or whatever's going on. Maybe they have some place in their country they can open up the door to. America, what I'm saying? America is, she got jobs, but it ain't, her own citizens got to survive. That's just common sense. I just don't understand why that these other countries can't step up and they they flaunting, they come over in the United States and flaunting their wealth. The Saudi princes and other, they just flaunting their wealth. Why can't they step up? I'm just, these people, why can't they step up? Why the Pope of Rome and all that? Why can't they step up? But they want the United States. Oh, go ahead and take them in. You gonna give us the financial backing and wealth? Because that's what the people want here. Just like they probably in Europe want their, it's probably is a recession over there, and then heck, there's some parts of Canada is getting hit with recession. Everybody wants you taking their problems, but they don't want it solved. But they don't want to come out their pocket and take on this responsibility. They ain't offering these people, why don't you come over here? We have some land, we have some businesses that will take care, and the climate is the same, similar to the same. The language they be able to speak. For example, if you take some people and you brought them into Spain, and put them somewhere on the outskirts of Spain. Again, a Spanish-speaking country with Spanish-speaking people. The Spanish might be a little bit different, but they're able to get to the point. They're able to understand, and hopefully the government of Spain will be able to help out because they're the ones that really colonized the islands anyway. They originally that's how most of South America was speak Spanish anyway, because it was them. So it's only right for the only people, if that's what the colonizers was. Why don't they chip in and help out these Spanish-speaking countries? When they probably got a little wealth too. It may not be as big as other countries, but it got some wealth. So that's what I don't understand. So they need to step up to the plate too, these countries need to be held accountable for things, not just the United States. The United States can only help so much, and we or even some of us who are politicians, they're not making very wise decisions because they just spending billions and billions of dollars and millions of dollars over stupid stuff when it's a lot of infrastructure and just services here throughout the country and the counties and the states and the counties that people need here. And all this foolishness spending need to stop. And that goes back to the politicians too. And we need to, and I think the American people here need to really make the politician put it in writing and get on their butt. About if we've seen you to Washington D.C., you better be the ones that be fighting for us. Stop with this horse mess. It's the people, because the people is the one that select the people. It should be just about rich people. But if that was the case, then why is that they need us, the average working poor person, our vote, if that was the case? And why they always trying to improvise that? We just want you out there. Okay, I'm gonna vote for you, but what you gonna do for us? What is the plan for the working poor people in each state? How you gonna take care? Because there's a lot of things going on with people that's been born there from generation after generation after generation. What is the plan for them? I'm just saying, what is, as far as the government housing, some in the housing and medical services, and just overall just quality way of life. The irrigation system in some states. I don't even know if they still working on that one up there in Michigan where they had lead in the water and things like that. In other states that got some water, so you have to find a good irrigation problem. Well, that's the one. Water is one of the most essential things we need to survive in this world. So we need to fix our water system throughout America. We need to fix our have some adjustable rate of utility. It's ridiculous when you have they playing around and they charge you an X amount of rent, X amount of not rent, but money that it's hurting yourself. Number three thing is the taxes situation. If they're gonna charge you all your taxes, damn it, they should give you more for your taxes. They should give you more. If they're gonna charge you X amount of $2 or $3 grand in taxes, they can at least give you your money's worth of taxes, because you pay out taxes, you own property, you own that, and then you making all that money off the residents out there in the business districts. You can at least step up and do something better with what you have out there. And this is take care of home first. So that's why we can't afford to be taking care of everybody else's problem. When it's these issues like this that we need to solve that ourselves. We can't just, in other countries that we do trade and stuff with and services with, I think that the representatives need to come over and make some kind of solution, and put that in the trade talk. What if we could get some of these people and make an offer to these people to go over there, and that's because the wealth and the job opportunity could be just as well as like there, or maybe even better than it's in the United States. And that's just the only sense. And everybody has to realize, and it's something, like I said, some places you don't have to be worried about no one making fun of your accent, your culture, the way your personal hygiene is, or whatever. You don't have to worry about all that, because over there it's just similar to the same over there. And however, we're staying in some Western nation where people just is their way, and they coming back hard on it. So wouldn't it make sense that a lot of stuff is just basically stay in your own, find some place where people won't commit no hate crime against you. And I think for some people, like in the case of some places in Europe, if they don't like you, then You don't need. It's the truth. I came to conclude you don't need to be over there. I mean, seriously. I mean, if the police is and they're gonna kind of take a slap on the wrist to someone who's gonna do something that the laws is, so why put yourself in that predicament? And it's like, maybe you can go visit someplace, but living someplace is a whole different ball game. And I think that if you're a person with a foreign born, whatever, I believe that go to next country similar to the same, so it will be a better adjustment for you and your family. That would be a good idea. I mean, when you think more about it, but that's what's going on. What's going on, and I don't think you will have to go through. If you live in some country, you don't have to worry about going through no racial attacks. Like they had their show in France, somebody hitting somebody upside the head because they were Middle Eastern, and and France is not really their origin, basically. So it's like, standing parts of places where they're dominant, and that's the truth, just for safety reasons. That's just for a safety reason. I mean, 'cause there's some places, even as an American, as I know, there's some places I should not go, and it'd be wise not to go, because some people they still got the spirit of murder, and I learned a long time ago, stop putting yourself in places where you're not welcome. If you're not welcome there, don't go there. Don't try to push your will with someone to make you go, because it could be detrimental to your life. And that's right now, the way we are in this crisis in this world right now, people are they're going nuts. They're not caring. And so it's just something to think about. But yeah, I just wanted to make a topic about this because it came to my mind. It's like, that would make a lot of sense. If whatever immigrants that you go to one of them other countries where the atmosphere is a lot different. It might be a lot friendlier, a lot freer. The crime may not be as, that's another thing. The crime ain't as bad. The crime situation may not be, and you gotta look at safety reasons for your family and how the way you raise. But when you live in one of those countries I mentioned about earlier, you ain't gotta worry about that. No, Saudi Arabia, one of them other countries, you ain't worry about that, because they, someone doing some shaggy stuff over there, they handle their business. And the language is similar to the same, the culture is similar to the same, and it's the same way. That's what I think. That's what I believe. Why put yourself in that, in people of the same faith, so you don't have to worry about someone saying, like, for example, if you're a Middle Eastern woman who's of the Muslim faith, you don't have to worry about someone telling you got to take off your uniform or anything like that. Over there, it's like, it'd be comfortable. You'd be free with other Muslim women, a women the same garb and everything. Just something to think about. I mean, it'd be different cultures, different people, and it's different because you have, let's say if you're in Saudi Arabia, you got Syrians, Iraqis, Iranians, Palestinians, Lebanese, and Egyptians, and I mean, they can get along, pretty much can get along, because it's pretty much the culture is similar, but the faith is the same. It's the same faith. They are the same faith. They are the same belief system and everything. And why would you want to come to a westernized bastard world where there's a lot of infidels, unclean people? That's something I don't get myself. Why would someone come to an unclean nation? And you can't clean it up, because and not only that, it's an unclean nation, it's a nation of vile and foul and vile. So that's just something I wonder about that. That's just something that it'd be curious if anybody would see this and said, why would you want to come to a country, in a Western country, that women run naked, their hair is uncovered, their body's uncovered, Why would you want to come into a country like that? I'm just curious. And you don't want your daughters and your sons being influenced by it. What would be better off being over in one of those traditional conservative countries where they're in the Middle East where they're traditional and you can feel comfortable and where it's business because they still do business over there. There's way making business over there. But why is it that this is what I just don't, and this is one thing I just don't, and that's part, and these people of the Muslim faith, the Christian faith, it is what it is what it is. We have a whole different conservative than the Muslim faith, people of the Muslim faith do. But I'm just saying for the people in the Muslim faith, wouldn't they be comfortable over there with other people? Let's say for you could be from Somalia, for Somalia, I mean it's the same. The food can be different. The brothership could be it's pretty much the same way. Or Sudanese, your Sudanese and your Africans, your Sudanese Africans who are Muslim, your Nigerian Africans who are Muslim. I mean, maybe they might want to try a Saudi Arabia or Iraq or someplace like that. I mean, it's pretty much the belief. What I'm saying is, no one had to worry about being an oddball, stand out, stick out, and everything else. You don't have to be around the infidels or the unclean people, where everybody's clean and everybody is up on the same. Some people up under the same system. And I'm not saying that everybody believe in that, but there's some people that do, and that's the reason why some people are very standoffish. And I that would be my main thing. So that would be some people in that part of faith. And it's like go to another country where they have the same belief system and faith system, and it could be a good educational system too. And especially a country like Saudi Arabia, one of these other Yemen. I mean not Yemen, but one of them other countries where Dubai or somewhere where they probably have good education. And I know they have probably the best technology in hospitalization because so many people come to the States in Europe how to grasp the latest technology to bring back to their country. And that's the smart thing is to do too. You got some places even in now some countries in India they're doing really well. And that's I said anybody's East Indian, I don't understand what's up because they see East Indian and Asian people. Because you got India. I mean, you got how many companies from India over in that some American they have made deals with the government over America. So you got some of your big major corporations is in India, and it's like why are they coming? And that's like why are they? It's like why are these people here? It's like India. Like hey, they got the tech. Now I can see coming for education reasons. They're going to go back what someone did. Go back and be make it and get in that company and it's just that then you have your own stores, you have your own hospitals and things like that, and so I that would and it's under, and then you have majority is in the Hindu religion, so basically the Hindu that's sprung out of the Hindu religion, all the different system under the Hindu. So that would be a good idea. And it's like, and then okay, and then next to India, then you have with China. With of course China trying to take over everything, but what they got going on right now, because they seem like they just dominate the whole atmosphere trying to buy out. And technically I never seen a group of people operate like the Chinese, man. They're just trying to go technology and hit through technology, weapons through technology and everything else. And in the meantime, trying to pounce and pounce and pounce and trying to pounce and pounce and try to claim and try to bring their dollars of wealth to different countries and continents. So they can, if they lend you something and you don't pay them, then they automatically can just infiltrate your country like they do in certain parts of Africa. in the Caribbean and price else places. They control the ports and all that things. I mean, that's like wow, man. It's like that's just crazy. And so I'm just, having these suggestions. It's just something that is just to make you think about it. It really does. Why don't these other people pick up these other people? Why is why is that? Because America overall, compared to some places, I mean, it's some pretty places in America, but they're not as extremely wealthy like some of them countries I mentioned earlier. They're not extremely wealthy. I mean, they're not. I mean, you look at our road infrastructure is not that. I mean, and then the citizens that's from here or the immigrants that's already here is trying to maintain what they got. And and, and people that's already been here that's been been here for a minute, they they try to maintain what they got. But for these people that's going out here and thinking that we treat some people bad, I said that maybe those people are fighting for these. Maybe you need to go over to down to South America. Some of the leftists maybe they need to go. If you think the United States is being that fair, maybe you need to go down to South America and live down there. I'm just saying. Just saying. Where you rebelling against your president, might as well. You think we're wrong with being mean and racist and prejudiced? Go down there. Just give up your citizenship, right, and go on down in their country. But other than that, you just kind of need to kind of help out here first and put your prayer. I don't mind praying for somebody, but let me pray for my family before I can. Then along the way, then I'll pray for someone else's family. Let me pray for someone. If you want to look at this aspect, that God can raise up a leader in their country and open up a solution so they can tackle their problem, so it won't be our problem. That's something you can pray about, and that's why I was suggesting about people come from these other countries, taking some. Why don't they step up and do the same thing? I mean, Mexico stepped up and did it too. Um, and you have a few others that have done the same. Chile, they had when the Venezuelan people were fleeing their country and stuff like that. I mean, Colombia opened up their doors, and even though Chile had to open up their doors, but they still had, and of course, he had a passport to get through there, and that's just the citizens of Chile, and basically, it is what it is. But we just can't have this free for all, and you have to look out for your own, because you don't want to see where you see in parts of the world like we have it over in France, where you have somebody killing people because they don't agree with the ideology of France, whatever. So they're going to start killing the citizens of France. So therefore, they got to get checked out. This is what you have. And we have citizens here in America that got killed by the same people that came up, the gangs that came up with some of these people. And some of these people, and they probably threaten them and probably recognize them and tell them, don't tell them who I am, because if I get over there, I'm going to kill you. So they probably threaten them on the way up. So that's another reason why it's good to know at the border who is who, because they're coming up with some of the people who's terrorizing is coming up with the ones who's fleeing. So these same people is coming up and probably been telling them in Spanish that, you don't tell them I'm your brother, or else, something going to happen to one of your family members. So now you let all these in your sanctuary cities, You let these people come in. Next thing you know, they're doing the same thing that they've done that the police in Guatemala and Honduras have to deal with down there. And then next thing you know, they get so bold they want to shoot back at and kill police here in America in law enforcement, ICE, and different individuals. This is what they got to face with. So they were, that's smart to deal with the situation down there before they bring up. They don't want to be had to go military style. So now next thing you know, they got to go military style on the in the migrant community to chase down MS-13 or one of these other gangs, because it's like they operate on a whole different level of not like your ordinary gang. I mean, these people, you can see the images, and I think people need to see what's going on, what kind of people you're dealing with, what kind of rebellion, to the point that they will die, they will kill somebody. Not only that, they will torture. They literally chop them up in pieces. I mean, you guys, what kind of, that's something demonic, man. So you just can't be so passive and let people over just because you just think you don't know what their intentions are. And we don't know anything unless you've been in that environment and speak that language and know the atmosphere of what they come from. Because here in America, we just think, everybody they just want to come here and be free. And some people do want to come in, but there's a cost. But we don't want no one else, with like any place else. You don't want no one else's problems showing up at your door. People killing teenagers, like they did it. Was it New York somewhere where they shot the young lady, pow, as an initiation. Now that you got people, now these same people you allow in, now they could come gunning down or coming after one of your relatives or coming after you. That's why you have to have someone like ICE or Border Patrol, Homeland Security. I mean, they track this stuff down. Because here's the smart about it, what the Americans don't know this. They don't know that the first thing they're going to do is we look at race. So all they're going to do is they're going to find another ethnic group of people to hide out in that community. And that can practically, and it could be someone that looks similar to the same. And then next thing you know, somebody will come out and say, "Oh, you're being racist. You're being prejudiced." But damn, what do you do if someone killed one of your citizens from somebody from a country that come from an origin of a country that don't have no respect for life? What do you do? So wouldn't it be better to check somebody out? And I mean, they killed the border agent. I mean, when I seen video, how they was acting with the ones that come against the Mexican police. It's like, dang. I mean, and they try to do the same thing when they storm that wall. They come over to the American border, but Americans they weren't pissing around. They just sit there, just take it like the Mexican police. Like, come on, we gonna light you up, and until you understand. No, they hitting me. You throwing rocks at the people. You throwing rocks at the military and the police. I mean, that how, and like somebody said, what they gonna do? Just sit there and take power, get knocked in the head, and everything. Oh, you being super sensitive. What else would you supposed to do? When you see the same thing, they didn't respect when they went through Guatemala. They did the same thing. They just bogart against those police. They overran the police department down there. They overrun, and then they're doing it to the Mexican police. So you see, you got these lawless, ruthless people that I can't wait. No. And the government saying, hey, we got some stuff for you, but there's a process. No, I'm not. I can't wait. So therefore, you're just gonna bowl your way in? No. And some people like, no. And can you blame them? I mean, someone they're willing to offer you, and you say it's not good enough. And that's basically what that was. And so they think they're gonna try to bully tactic and rush the border like they did in Guatemala. They forgot, the Americans ain't gonna just go ahead and just storm the border. And yeah, the Americans like, come on, we got you. We're gonna light your behind up. And I mean, like, oh my goodness, you should. Like come on, man. Like come on, really? I mean, common sense can tell you that. And anybody that would use women and children, just stand up. It's something that's something wrong with that. It's like I'm gonna stand behind women and children to sneak over the border. They ain't gonna do that. So you put the women and children to get harmed and get killed. Wait. What kind of people do something like that? That you know that the projectile can hit a kid and hurt them or harm them, or kill them. But yet you put the children in front. What kind of manhood stuff is that? I mean that's I mean I heard that like that. Are you serious? If you're gonna be man up against the army. Don't hide behind women and children. If you're gonna be man up, go straight up with somebody. Go straight up to them. If y'all that bad as a group, but yeah, you're gonna come as but in a way they had to do what they had to do. They had to shoot bean bags. And luckily it was that. Like one guy was saying, some places in the world, if that was Russia, they shoot you down. They probably put a bullet in you and say, hey, back up. You ain't going to shoot. Pow. I said back up. Some places don't play. You go storm their border and whatever. Storm you if you want to. They're going to light into you. They don't care about no human regulations or whatever, humanitarian. They put themselves in that predicament. They pose as a threat. So anytime you have a whole bunch of people coming at it as a threat, that's just common sense. Anybody can arm up like that because they don't know what they have in it. That's the same way when you go over to these other countries, whatever, when they had to do citizen patrol, whatever, they attack. The military had to do the same thing over there. Because you don't know somebody coming with a strap with a bomb or whatever, or coming with some kind of weapon or whatever. And so they had to do what they got to do. So people really need to think about this and what you view and go get the other side of the story. What's really going on? Why would someone do something like that? Why would they just send all of these people all out of blue, just out of the blue? I mean, there's only been people coming up crossing America, but not like that. That's something really suspicious right there. That they just gonna rush the border? Have anybody ever thought about that? I'm just saying, it's something to think about, people. And it, I mean, it's good to have compassion, and it's about rather help people if they have compassion and everything. But let me help them in that situation over there, and it's not really filtered to a certain degree on Mexico too, because they got to take care of their citizens. That's why I said that's why I mentioned some of these other countries need to step up, and they need to take that relief off of Mexico. And then I heard that the same immigrants going to demand the United States, the Trump administration, to give us 50 grand, and then we'll go back. That's kind of bold, ain't it? Now you're gonna tell us United States really won a superpower, give me 50 grand and we'll go back. That's blackmailing someone. Like, man, some people got some nerve. Look, you got the nerve. I'm gonna invade my rights into your country. That's basically what, and they testing them. That's what this thing against Trump. And it's like, oh, and then when Trump recognized it, and the administration said, I know what you're doing, and we're going to put it back on you. Then when they put it back on, you got somebody in the United States, someone saying, oh, come on, you're being racist, you're being prejudiced, considered about that. Yeah, I'm considered, I have to look out for the doggone United States. The next thing you know, you have what they have over in Europe. People shooting people, blowing people up and stuff like that. But not just like on a one basis, but you have people try in different parts. They be setting it off. So that's why I said, hey, alleviate that, and then when they have to go through the system that so other countries need to step in and take some of these people too. So that's my take on it. That would be the most wise thing to do. No country can't take in that many people. I mean, it's enough. I mean, there's other beautiful places and places of wealth in the world. The United States ain't the only one. That that there's other places they can go and people treat them with love and respect, and they have a good heart and everything, and practice what their religious system is, the belief system is, and everything else. But we have to be, but right now, America is going through a harsh time, and with jobs like General Motors and different individuals out there is losing jobs, and people gonna lose their house and lose their medical coverage, and soon be homeless. So now you have American citizen is in the same boat as someone is that's come from over from another country who choose to leave that environment, whether it's come to another country or the country before the country like Mexico say, we're gonna work something out with you, we'll get your job, we'll set you up with some property. Just be just hang with us for a minute and we'll process you through. And then they tell some of the Mexican people their food don't taste too good and their water, no, you suck. I'm going to the States. We're gonna push past you. Get out of our way. Tell this to the Mexican people. How can you, and I said, how can a person be so ungrateful and someone you walk 1,000 miles through hot, all different types of weather, feet hurt and everything else, blister on your feet, hungry and everything else, and that's the way you treat somebody? You get up to the top of a country before you, even though you might not be able to get into the other country, and that's what you say? That you don't like their food, you don't like their water, it's like they get the hell out, they go back then. And that's what and I saw how the way they were reacting. And nobody want no bunch of chaos when they already got some stuff over in Mexico. They got to deal with too. And I don't blame Mexico for some citizens for being pissed. I'll be mad too. You're not respecting our way of life. And so the United States don't want that over here either. And of course, to me, they're trying to make it look like it's race, look like it's race, when it's not race, because under the banner of the United States, Latino can be considered anybody with Spanish origin, basically. With other words, the Mexican, Guatemalans, Hondurans, and different ones like that. So how it can't be no prejudice. Nope, can't use that excuse. Come on, it's prejudice defined by race. And they weren't being racist; it was just being practical. You might call it something else, but it's not being racist. So, but I just want to chime in on this one, and I know I don't get too many viewers, but I just want to weigh in on this controversy with the immigrants. Excuse me. And question these other countries. They need to step up, help out America. You want American products over here? Well, and they let fly their shipments and stuff. Why don't they taking some of the heat? And certain stuff that they have going on with whatever educational system and business or whatever, and the United States is dealing business with these other countries I mentioned. Though they need to step up, and especially when and I believe some of the government know that America is kind of is on a downfall. They know this stuff. They know it, and anybody sit back up there and allow that to happen from another country, shame on them. Because America's done you right in some way, as far as your people and everything, they can at least come and help solve the solution. Maybe help this country out. I mean, because America's always helping everybody else out and spending billions and zillions of dollars in military and aid and blowing up a country, trying to rebuild the structure up, blow up a country and then spend billions and billions of tax-paying dollars. So, hey, is it about time someone get back to America? These same people, I mean, see, that they do business with? I don't know. Because why should America's poor, working class poor, and near poor and homeless got to suffer because of something that they do. Why is that? Why is that the working poor always got to suffer here? Why is it that the working poor always got to take second place to everybody else? Why is it that the working poor across this country, in the city, in the rural, in the urban areas, why is it they always have to suffer? And then at the same time, these same politicians coming to your town, coming to your city, next couple of years, they done forgot about everything and they want you to vote for them again. But when you vote for them the first time, they ignored it. They ignored the fact that people need a good economy to run, so they can be able to afford good medical benefits, so they can at least somewhat be able to sustain a good living. And convince companies and these companies, I swear, man, these companies is something else too. That's a whole another topic in itself. They go over to try to escape this stuff, or go to another country, that will offer them some tax abatement over there where they don't have to do much, and then they have the nerve get made over in that country, sell it to the people over in this country, as if people should buy the product from this but they go back and put it up in China. Ain't that something? Yeah, they go make their GM close down. They won't close down one in China or someplace like that, or whatever. And yet, but they'll make the car in China, and we got to buy it over here in America. And so screw the American in one way, hike up the car, make it 10, 20 grand for a car. That could be just a car, and 10 to 15 to 30 grand, like a house payment. So you're paying for a house payment for some guy over, some factory over in China, whatever. But yet some poor American worker was out of work here in America because some greedy ass people couldn't design the car right, and it cost them workers their jobs. They didn't have the quality parts, and to the point. And they made it because they're too lazy to make a good quality parts, and that's another reason why these other countries can help out. They can help out too. And so now these American billionaires going over there and making deals up in some other country and hurting people here that help them put them up on top. And so they do the ultimate slap in someone's face. They do the ultimate slap in somebody's face is to take their job and not give them nothing for it. We got to close you up. Thank you for your dedication for 30, 40 years. Screw your kids, but thank you. But if I bring my product, will you buy my product back into this country? I mean, really, GM? Really? Is this somebody to these other companies? Really? And you're going to want to come back and sell your same product. You stab the worker in the back, take away their benefits, don't want to honor anything, and then you expect us, and they had the nerve to come back and sell it something and charge up a certain amount to keep your executives in office, whatever. That's a bunch of crap. That's why I said, and we worried about this other problem with other people and stuff like that. Did that make any sense out there? I'm just saying. That's why I said That's why I said, how come these countries can't take in these other immigrants? The ones that these American companies, the ones that stab the American people in the back, don't want to, because they don't want to share their profits, or they don't want to share certain things. So they'll work you 80 doggone hours, and they practically, you got to risk your health just to make these suckers rich. And then after 20, 30 years of putting into some doggone company, said, bye-bye, thanks a lot, c'est la vie, we gone. That's why I said, dang, ain't no such thing, no loyalty no more in America. It's disgusting. And they go back to the same countries that they wouldn't even help. They could help with the immigrant situation because they got enough land, and they got it in a way where they can, even though they paying pennies on the dollars less, but yet there's people working over there. They will keep they would keep companies over there, but yet, but they don't. They won't stop the westernized countries like America and Canada and different places, but yet they'll. That's why I say why don't these other countries step up and hire them over there and make room for them over there? Because you got some countries that can got enough wealth that can build 3 or 4 cities and sustain the economy and put in the seven things that they need to live a sustainable, build better hospitals, have a better banking security system. There's countries that can build better infrastructure and roads and everything. And and right now in America, they have to go down to representatives. They spend all this money, spend it on infrastructures and roads, and somehow every couple of years, the bridges are falling down, the roads are getting teared up because the material that they're putting on the roads making potholes. So they have to go back, and then they have to go back over the same infrastructure when they go put down a doggone sewer line and an electric line. I mean, a water line and a sewer line and a gas line down in there. I mean, it's the same structure. Then we have to go to Washington, D.C. to some type of department to fund that. I mean, it's just, you see the whole thing all the way around. It's just, but yet, again, you have these American companies with these going to these other countries, and them people over there, they don't get screwed, but they screw the certain Western nations. And then you have politicians here. They don't have the balls enough to sit up there and stand. No one had to sit up there and just put out and just say, "Hey, enough of this crap." That when you do something like that, then it's a big rebellion. And when someone do step up, then it's like, "Oh, you being irrational." No, you being technological. Some of these people that are politicians that are about to get in January don't have a clue about understanding the whole facet of politics. They don't understand, even they don't have a clue about the certain things in the system. And this is where some people who have worked politics and understand the conservatism of having different things as far as insurance and how to work out different things that the American people need as far as medical and insurance and things like that. They count on people. They count on people over there to put them in office. Where they have lack of anything. They have lack of knowledge. So a lot of these people they studied things, but it's a difference between you studying the politics and then applying what the politics is. So a lot of these politicians, that's going to be in January, they have no skill. They think it's easy. I don't think someone don't even have enough experience to how to budget their own household, let alone budget their own county, budget their own town and everything. So you have a lot of experiences going in there. So it's going to be when it comes January, it's going to be very interesting. And these are the people. Some of these politicians are the ones for these open borders, the ones someone that's going in there, but they not think about the consequences. You have the one young lady that's in New York, the Ortiz woman, and someone asking an intelligent question was like, okay, who's going to pay? You want free Medicare, right? Who's going to pay for it? I mean, who's going to pay for? Because it's had to come out of someone's pocket. She couldn't really even answer that. I was watching on this woman couldn't even answer the logical, but yet free medical care, but who's going to pay for it? When you have a government is struggling $1 trillion in debt to places like China, whatever, and so in America is having problems paying China. So China's doing like they do with these other countries, and they're just going to take parts of the United States. They take the different parts of California, take the different parts of who knows? Probably Texas or Florida. It's just crazy. Just really insane that you have people. That's why you have to be careful who you put in office. You have that they have to know what they're doing. They have to not just go on emotion. I learned don't vote on emotion. Even though if you see something, you have to have a sensible leisure Raj. Yep. So people just don't think about that. They really don't. They don't think about the whole thing. They don't think about the whole scenario out there. They don't think about what's going on, and it's like, why is it that we have to suffer? The working poor has to suffer that, and it's come right back to the poor and near poor. Right now, we have our own veterans out there that's suffering, that they not really take care of the veterans too well, and they want to cut services on the veterans. I mean, it's just people who, oh man, it's just, I go on and on and on, but yet it's the same old thing. They don't want we got to worry about somebody else's. Put someone take food, the food that we need, take stuff that we resources and just give it out there everybody, and screw screw your child and everything. Screw your kids, screw your mom, your dad, your elderly grandma's gonna be in that nursing home, and then people don't think about their future as we get older, that we're gonna need in the next 10, 15 years, as far as the system, as far as social security system and things, we're gonna need some stuff for ourselves. We're gonna need the benefits. Some people going to retire, and they projecting the next 10, 15 years that it might run out. And people need to consider about that. They're not even, again, and that's why I go back to, why is it always got to be dumped on the United States when all these other countries got all this doggone money? They got all this doggone money and resources, gold and wealth that's just 10 times that as far as wealth wise. Like I said, they can build up a whole community, 3 or 4 communities. But yet, and they say it's doing somewhat good. I mean, that's something when you go over to Saudi Arabia and the whole doggone town is like marble and gold. Buildings just going up and everything. I mean, stuff is worth billions and millions of dollars. That's some of your big millionaires here. Yeah, but yet they have to put on the American people. But yet you have people pouring to this country, weighing down this economy on citizens that's basically been here. Some of the American citizens, like African Americans, ain't even still 3/4 of a human being yet. Ain't still getting citizen right. But yet it's crazy. And then it's like then they use another African American person that just some of these politicians go get my black friend, so we go get the votes, and go into your black community and go with the hip hop and this and that and other, and sway these people to vote for color. But they ain't really. But some of these people are black. They ain't really care about black. They know how to go in and talk and jive and swag and swig and talk through the talk. But when it come down to it, they ain't even looking out for their own people. They're not even looking out for them. So really, it's like, dang, here is that your nationality of people. We're one of the nationalities of people that suffers the most in this country. And they will use somebody to make it seem like it's all right. It's just great. It's just phenomenal. But yet you still see injustices in certain scenarios. And all you gotta do is go to social media. You can see that. But yet they'll get someone to dumb down. And it's always been like that. It's always been a history of someone dumbing down. Just turn against That's how I look at it. And I'm just going in. I'm just to today just because it's just people should get tired, and I hope that this video get out and it kind of shakes somebody because it's and then really to look at politicians. Like I said, really people should demand more when they talk to them. When they next time they come all up in your face, and I can use your vote for this, and I can okay. The working class people and poor need to say, okay, now what you gonna do about the infrastructure? What you gonna do about the Medicare? What you gonna do about these things that the working poor and give them your stories, give them it's the struggles, how people are probably eating out the trash cans or whatever, trying to survive. And I know that the working poor people get tired of the same old mess. They want to tell with the same old thing, the same old topic all the doggone time. And it's just that's why I said and they want to put it on us. And then you have an organization out there that trying to make us feel bad because we're not helping enough individuals when you have individuals in your back door in your neighboring state in your neighboring city is stuck starving to death. You got people out there, like I said, in different parts of the West Coast. You got hundreds of thousands of homeless people out there. Hundreds of thousands of homeless people on the street trying to figure out how they're going to survive. But yet we worry about people over here. And these people had a choice to stay over in Mexico and just stayed until the government worked things out. Why do we have to dump? But they didn't want to wait. So now they come over here that come to San Diego. They probably will have a high homeless population right down there. They're already struggling with it. Then you go up to LA, that's 10 times worse. It's just some stuff whoever's making decisions out there are idiots. You got some idiots in office because they're not looking at the whole board. They just looking, it's almost like someone who have an animal and he used the bathroom in an apartment or in the room, whatever. And after a while, when they see it, they smell it, they know that they see the animal do it, and they don't go wipe it up, they don't clean it up. They just want to they just put potpourri around it. They just want to ignore it, and they spray around it. It's like instead of just handling the problem, cleaning up the doggone mess from the pack, whatever, they let it just sit there and piss and poop, whatever, and it builds up the stink. As soon as you can walk in there and visit their house or whatever, it's like, damn, the damn sink just hit you out the door. And that's how the way that's the state is handling things. This situation is right at the doggone door in their own backyard, and they're not even really to take care of it. But they worry about somebody else. When you have missionary, you need to do in your own backyard. You need people that be missionary and take care of the opiate epidemic on the streets out there in different cities. You need missionaries between the young people getting molested and being caught up in human trafficking out there. This would be missionary be where at. Maybe there should be missionary working on coming to Washington D.C. giving grants so you get the homeless veterans off the street. That's another thing that missionary had. Some of these veterans have post-traumatic stress syndrome. That's what we need to be looking at. We take care of our own, man. Take care of our own, and then once you take care, go to the next town, and go to the next city before you want to go to the next country or whatever. And that's how you solve the problem. And maybe somewhere along the line, crime would actually cut down if we stop pretending like, hell, just this going so third world problems, and which the problems have always been in that third world. We need to worry about our own backyard. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We need to worry about things here. Stop trying to be a hero over there. That's it. If you want to help out somebody, wait till you build up the funds and go help them out in their country. But it's sad that you have people you have people in your neighboring town is starving. a single mother, a single father, somebody who maybe they'll have some kind of physical, mental disability out there, and they won't even they'll skip that to worry about something that's completely out of the ballpark. And that's what you have these people fighting this, why they don't want this border control and things like ICE and all this stuff like that. That's just, it don't know in logic sense when you have people that commit crimes and cost people's lives and the victims. I mean, you got people that committed crime, like for example, one of the people that was illegally here, he killed like the one guy that he had it on record. His guy has got drunk 3 times. He got 3 times. So the last time that NFL player that helped out in Indianapolis and the Uber driver, and so now there's 2 people taken off, and then they let them go and they go back out there and kill more people, and so the guy shouldn't have been in the country in the first place, and probably didn't even have a driver in that, and so if you don't have a driver's license, you should have been in the country in the first place, but due to somebody's liberal policy, they don't give a shit about that. They don't care about that. But what do you say to that victim of the victims whose families who had to suffer because of some of that? Then there was a topic where it was a gang member that killed some teenage girl up in New York out of initiation, MS-13. What we do just pat them out, and then you got the same people. They got some of them more talking about we coming to the state, infiltrate the states basically, and bring more stuff out there. So now you got bringing more people out there, and there's already immigrants who are legally there. Now they terrorize. They're seeing the same stuff that they took their time learning the laws of this country to get into this country. And so now they got to see the same mess as in the country. But you picking on everybody. Stop that. You picking on everybody. And someone's not looking at the whole picture. And it's not until someone become a victim of it who's protecting them, then they're gonna know what it felt like. And it's really sad. And they don't care, man. These people, they'll and then you have people that they don't care, they'll kill a police officer, a border agent. You see the one video where the guy was shooting at the cop, they don't care. Man, it's like, man, if they do that kind of rebellions against, and they're able to take out their police in that country, what does that say about here? If they're willing to shoot out and kill their own law enforcement and their own army officials and elected officials, why do you want that in the United States? And this is what you take. If you don't have a system to check them out, you'll have someone trying to do that. They'll be trying to take out one of your elected officials. The same spirit, it's the same mentality of people. Now they come and do more damage. And then they try to come off like they're the innocent person. But here this person was a murderer. And this is what's going on. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous how people out there. Yeah. Just I mean, some stuff is just really ridiculous. That people need to really think about it. It's all right to care about people. It's all right to be concerned, but sometimes you have to think about the whole picture. There's a reason why. You have to look at the whole picture, people. You have to look at. I learned that don't just rush to emotion, because my opinion would have thought about it. I would have had the same opinion too, unless I really think about it, unless I really look at it and thought about it. I said, well, what about my future? What about us? What about my taxpaying dollars that working low wage jobs and things like that? Because this was really, really ridiculous. And And that's why I say it's always good to get the other side. Don't just assume, because it's the same. You can't have the same old thing all the time. Yes. Yeah, that's why. But that's why I'm having this discussion, because it really bothered me, and I'm hearing, and it just come across my mind. It's like, man, it's like, why did America has to take on something that other countries they have other dealings with other countries, and other countries have just as about as wealth as America, and they have just as much research or even more than America. So why is it that they can't take it? Yes, but some people need to really think about this, man, and really, because I mean, if you look at it from the main point of view, um, you got to get the other side of the story. I always believe it's like a judge. You have to see both sides of the story to see what's really going on, and have a rationale and think logic on it. Because if you don't think logic and think with emotion, this is what I've learned. I'm still learning this. When you don't think logic and with emotion, it can be bad. It can be detrimental for you. It can be really bad, and that's how I look at it. And a lot of people going on emotion. Cause I mean, no one wants to see kids starving, and being caught up in this. Nobody who have kids or who love kids don't want to see them caught through that. But someone has to question the parent. Why, if if I'm a single parent coming up from another country and from poverty, and a country offer me citizenship, I'm gonna stay. Even though I might do certain, I might not like certain things, but I will at least have the patience up enough to wait, and then use the wisdom. If I do cooperate with that government in let's say Mexico to get to, then maybe somebody will vouch for me on the Mexican side. So when I get my paperwork and my paperwork is checked out through the American consulate, whatever, then they said, well, this guy's good. He don't have no. Then the American consulate would ask the Mexican consulate, is there anything, any past prior convictions, any criminal activity, and they can vouch for them. That's what it was. That was basic. That was answer, and that's just common sense. And whether someone can take that in the wrong way or the right way is the wrong way. But I mean, that's just, you have to have someone to see who you let into your country, especially when some place like Mexico always struggling with some things. They don't want something worse than already is. And I mean, that's just, I mean, a lot of stuff it's not like apples and oranges. I mean, I mean, really. But I don't know. People just need to really think. They really need to think. They really need to examine. And this is what I've learned just watching different people on YouTube on the topic and hear different views. And then you have to go, some people that's from Mexico, they saying this was really going, because really we don't really understand the custom and the language over there and everything, unless you're really good at speaking Spanish and they comprehend everything that's in Spanish. You wouldn't even know. The good thing, someone who is that understand and say, I see where this individual coming from. Because if you don't, they can be having ulterior motive. So thank God for some people that do are bilingual, that they know that you ain't gonna pull no all on them, even in another language. So that it would be smart to listen to somebody that can speak the language and know the custom. And we don't, like you said, you don't know what that some of them gang members, some of the individuals told those people, like, hey, if you don't do what we say, like something happened to one of your cousin, your uncle, and that's messed up. So now you have people moving up with that in the caravan. And people in the United States are not looking at that. They're not thinking about things like that. So now, and the ones that committed crime here from that particular group of people who was part of that organization and that was started out of prison, they infiltrate the United States. They come over here and start setting up things and start training young people how to take people out. And no one even think about that. So now, they shooting at police and gunning down at police and everything else. So therefore, now you got to go military style like that. This is the only way they understand. You got to handle them like they handle them down in South America. You got to handle them raw and rough, because it's the mentality, it's the mindset that they have. And tell people need to watch some videos on what the police down in the country's got to do. Watch how the way the military had to deal with them, and watch, and then they don't care. You can't, and you think it's all. You'll see. That's how I feel about it. So anybody jump to conclusions, get the other side of the story before we jump to any conclusions about someone being prejudiced or being racist, something like that. Look at the whole thing. Look at what's causing it. Why was someone all of a sudden what's behind it? Why all of a sudden you got about 500,000 people trying to run up into America? Ask yourself that. Who's causing it? Why is it that they're doing that? This ain't been happening before. And all of a sudden it happened, in the last, year and a half or so? I mean, there's always been people trying to come into America, but dang, they come up by 1,000. So you really got to so what I'm saying is you really got to really think about that. And don't be so really quick to judge somebody. And I said, there's certain things with Trump, I don't agree with them, but there's some things, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, no one's going to agree with somebody, but at least on this one, at least he is trying to say, hey, if we don't solve this problem, something's coming down the line. And why would someone fight over a wall? And I mean, and you see on the news out there, in the news, the local news, they digging up under the wall trying to get it in America after they're told. So they're just going to be defiant. And then the Border Patrol has to go out there and save them because they're walking across the desert, whatever. And it's just crazy. That is just a lot of stuff that people really need to think about before you judge something. I learned, watch the whole thing before you accuse somebody of something, because that would make sense. You got to have Border Patrol. I mean, you see in other countries, man, they let some people in. Next thing you know, a year or two later, they blowing stuff up and shooting at citizens and running over trucks and stuff like that, trying to sell bombs and stuff like that. So you got to do your diligence. I mean, Europe is one of the first examples of that. And just people out there just partying. Just recently, there's some guy in Europe, over in France, Christmas holiday, just unloaded on somebody. Just start unloaded a clip in a market. And I mean, you can't help but report it. I mean, it's just crazy, man. So you got to have some type of who is these people? Now they got to track them down, find out what country of origin that they had, what was the cause and everything. By then, they killed about 10, 20, 30 people. So yeah, you have to. you have to check people out because some people don't have the motives to come in with peace and get along. Some people have a plan. Some people out there have a plan to bring that same destructive behavior into to that country or that country of origin. And they feel like they're untouchable because some liberal law gonna protect them. But meantime, the victim of it, somebody's a victim, they're gonna have to suffer behind it because for it. And that's not right. That's not right to the victim or anybody. And so and it's kind of making me sick with these politicians, man, because they're not looking out for like in this country for the American people. Especially, I hate to say this, but I mean, but right now the Democrats ain't looking good. I mean, I know the Republicans got their issue, but man, Democrats, it's like no, we don't care. Let's focus on that over there. Let's focus way over there when you're not looking at something way in your backyard. And that's what really is really sad, and people don't even see it. They don't really even acknowledge it. They don't even want it even, and they don't care just because I can understand they disliking the president, but damn, to the point that you really showing he's making you look bad because like you don't even care about your own people, and they don't even see this. That these them Democrats like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they be making look like a fool by Trump. Like you're not looking out for the country's interests. All you worry about is some person getting over it and just trying to make me mad at Trump because something personal vendetta and playing politics. But you're not even looking out for the people, the elected officials that put you in office, and that's a prime example. They not even think about that. They try to play it off every once in a while, and then they use some black person too to try to and few the black caucus people and other people, but they get on the same board. But because they didn't sold it out, and Trump is making them look like a fool, man. Yeah, I mean making them look like, and people. That's why people in the black community in America are flipping over to the Republican side. It used to be there was a time, but most of them are going because they open up their eyes. It's like these people really never been your friend. They're not working your interests. They didn't put other people who, and even the ladies, someone who has no rights in this country over you. When it was here, as far as let's say, particularly in the African American community, you have the LGBT community, and you have the women's movement, and you have and with some other things that's going and some certain religion, of faith movement that they were protected, and the African American community still is able to dumb down and just wait, stop complaining. Here we'll put here's your black official, be happy. Here's your black president, be happy. But yet the same black official, African American official, didn't do nothing, but just do a lot of talk. Got up under that same democratic system and didn't do a thing. Just talking and get up under the same boat and start caking for somebody else. Therefore, people in their own district are suffering. People among their own people are suffering. And what you figure, if you come out of a people, what you want at some point, help your people, protect your people. If I'm Hispanic, that's the first thing I would do, and I'm pretty sure that they do. They're gonna look out for their own. I mean, they'll help other people. They're gonna mostly look out for their own. I mean, in Middle Eastern people, East Indian people, any people gonna look out for their own people before they hit mainstream. Because that's what they think about first. That's how the way trained, and I believe that this probably come from home, come from out of home. You gotta look out for your own. But the Black American, they get money. Some Black Americans, African Americans, they get money. We there, education status, we there, but yet they allow you few through the door, and the next thing you know, when you do something wrong, you do something out of place, say something out of line, boom, you get kicked out of the club. And the same people who's supposed to be liberal for Black people, African American people, They just used them up. That's what they do, and they being used as African Americans leaders are being used for this, being passed over their own people in their own district. African Americans, black people, the district, and yet these same people come with the same shine, song, and dance up into the churches and vote for me another 2 years, vote for me another 2 years, but yet they've been playing Washington politics so long. They haven't even thought about their own people, but yet you have a lot of people among the other people in this country still struggling. And where there's a Caucasian is struggling at a 50%, African Americans they struggle at 150%. So that's why I don't understand that. I mean that's how it usually is. I mean, as far as demographically, health wise, I mean they always come up with the status and everything. They come up with the status on health and well-being and diseases and everything, and in the way of life. And but these individuals are supposed to be representing the African American community. It's a joke. It really is. It's a joke. I mean, it's just they don't care. They just want to maintain their status, their status, be a part of that special status, whatever that may be. But it's like, okay, now we didn't use you around, and the same liberal person that had used you, and if you say something too out of place, someone who is the opposite of the skin, but what is it? T. West would say, pale skin. Now you to go to a board. Then the same person who's liberal is going to turn against you, and it's a fact. It happened with some individuals who are commentators on different news channel. It's the truth. So they sell out, turn on their own people, and turn on their own people for other people. But yet when some of these other people come over, they're not going to be looking out for your interests. They're going to be looking out for their interests. They're not going to be going in with the fight with you. And someone pointed out, said that's true. They're going to look out for their own. Every group of people that come to this country looks out for their own. Every group of people that get citizenship look out for their own. I mean, they might have some might have compassion for you, but they ain't gonna put themselves out there. I mean, it's just every group of people. They're not gonna come and back up the African American man or woman or child. It's just that when they already come to this. Some come to the country seeing that they're at the bottom of the barrel. Why are they gonna have that someone at the bottom of the barrel when they come here to be on the top of the barrel? And that's the truth. That's a whole topic in itself, right then and there. So that's why I say I don't go along with that liberal agenda, because I've witnessed some things myself. You see it, and if you live long enough, you see it in people's actions. Their actions. Look into their eyes, and their actions will tell you a whole different story. You've been around different individuals and groups of people. You'll see they're not going to come to the bottom of the barrel for no African Americans, because some African Americans they are labeled them in some most horrible, detrimental ways as far as people in this country. And no matter what African Americans do, black people do in this country, they always would look down on us. As some people will continue to look down us at the bottom of the barrel. So I say this to say this: why am I going to fight for somebody that looks down on us as the bottom of the barrel? Is at the bottom for what? Why should I have to look at somebody at the bottom of the barrel once they come up? And every group of people that African Americans, blacks have fought, no one have to come back and come behind them and stand with it in regard as far as getting just basic justice for them. It's like they on their own. And it's so to see African American black politicians take up that point is just that it's really sad, and they're turning and they turn against their own, and they're just at fault, and they don't mind getting used by that so-called liberal machine over there. That I'm gonna use you as my black friend, but once they get their votes in, they're kicking you to the curb, and that's how I look at the Democratic Party. They're just kicking you to the curb. They don't give a crap. It's always like you like the what they call the token Negro. You're just my token, just to get you my token. Just if I could get access to the wealth of this African American community, you are just a token of that. Other than that, you just go ahead. Go ahead, and therefore being African American, being one of the groups like other behind other groups that's in this country who's suffering, trying to maintain the lifestyle, just to live in the American dream. Well, that's what you want to call it. As far as basic living, which is basic living, and but yet you have to suffer and be up on the suffering conditions as your other counterparts, but go through it worse because now according to a certain standard on the books, it seemed like the people you still three-fifths of a human being. So therefore, it's like you're not even of value until someone kind of shed light on this, and that's why we have the things that we do in this. We are in this country. That's the way it is, and I believe like with some individuals, no one has a friend. There's not too many friends for African Americans as far as a group. Individually they are, but because it's like African when it comes to African Americans, as far as that, they're the lesser of the people. And this is the way some different individuals in these groups view people as, and they don't think that we have the comprehension enough and the brains to figure this out. that some people that they do that. It don't take a rocket science to view that. Just because some individual do something wrong or make a bad choice in life to do something wrong should be penalized for other individuals. But that's why I said they don't have rent. And that's just one of the groups of people that are being hurt from this thing. That's why I mentioned earlier about how come other countries can't step up, because then you go into the rural area of Appalachian America, they're hurt. There's a population of people who are Caucasian, white. They're hurt because oil is hitting them, and because there's the education system is there, and then it's and there's other issues there, and it is there in itself. So, and then as the poor, it's in the same condition. They don't have no one to really fight for them because they're still in the same poverty condition. Imagine. So that's what I've come to conclusion. Just don't. These people, they're a joke. These politicians, they're a joke. And that's why I looked at politics a wholly different way. This year, one thing what Donald Trump did do, I may not be in agreement, but he opened up my eyes on how the way people do things. It really opened up my eyes to see how, dang, when you really listen to people, like these people really don't care about people, the working people. I mean, people out who voted for you and got out there, took time off of work and took a day off to vote them in office, and this is the way they treat you. They let companies just get away with billions of dollars. They give billions of dollars to companies. They don't have to pay it back, and then they knock 3,000, 4,000 workers off of a company. But that's part. Let's focus on something else. Let's drown it out. Let's keep the other half of America asleep. That's what they want to do with us. They want to keep the half of America asleep. Come on, it's gonna get better. Just go sleep. Go to sleep. And that's what they doing to us. That's exactly what they doing. They don't give a crap about us. And you really seen it as I get older. I see it. They really don't give a crap about us. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to head off for a while, but I just want to make this point. But John, I'll be talking to you, but I'm glad you've been my fan. But but for then, I hope you guys have a blessed one to be able to survive this. What's coming up in the new year, and just hang on because it's only coming. And just hold those politicians accountable for it, for what they say, what they do. Next time they come into you, their election next 2 years, people need to stand up and tell them what they want, and let especially both parties know we ain't bull crapping no more. Either you gonna stand with us, stop putting your interest in other places, and for other ones who, or else it's a wrap. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a good day and good evening, and I hope you take care of yourself. Be blessed.